Yeah. For now.
Do what?
For now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you still got work to do.
Yeah, exactly. There's always more work to do, man. But, I'm just enjoying the win. Can't enjoy it too much. I'll be back in practice on Monday, no injuries. Got to get ready for a short notice call or hopefully what's next, So,
right.
Yeah,
you got to make sure to celebrate, though. You got to make sure. That's what you do all the hard work for, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. You got to reap the benefits, reap the labor.
This is Brendan, by the way.
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I've been DMing you, so.
Yeah. Good.
So, how many fights have you had in Titan?
Pretty much my whole career. I'm 6'1". I'm 6-1-1 now. I've had pretty much all of my wins have been with Titan. So 6 fights for sure. I've had 7 fights with Titan. One of them was at Bellator.
Okay.
What about your amateur career? How long was that, or was that? I feel like nowadays, younger fighters, their amateur career is a lot shorter than it used to be.
Yeah, for sure. I think honestly that's actually a mistake, and for most people, I think it's very important to be amateur and go through the process, go through the ups and downs, and understand like what it feels like to lose, what it feels like to fight tough opponents. You know what I mean? Because when you're an amateur, everyone wants to hype up all these amateur fighters now, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't mean shit. Because when you turn pro, it doesn't affect your money, it doesn't affect your stock, it really doesn't affect anything. It's just free experience.
Absolutely.
Or as an amateur, but I actually started training when I was 17. I had my first amateur fight when I was 18 in high school, first cage fight in an event, like on a real card. I was 18 years old. I had just turned 18. I had 8 amateur fights in total. I actually wasn't the greatest amateur. That's why I say that. Like, you need to experience the losses and stuff because it's made better of a pro. I actually finished as an amateur only 4-4.
Okay.
Yeah. My amateur career lasted about 3.5 years. I turned pro at 20 years old, or 20. I think right before I turned 21.
Yeah, and like you said, that experience, you can't get that anywhere else. So that's great for sure.
No, I mean, especially considering, like, I feel like it says a lot about somebody that, like you went 4-4. So like there was a time where you may have lost, 2 in a row, or you may have lost 3 in a row. I mean, whatever it is, but to come back from a loss and get a W, that says a lot. What was that chick that Casey O'Neill fought, Modafferi? Man,
Roxanne Modafferi, yeah, Roxy.
Yes. Man, she's a legend, and honestly, it says a lot about her that she can come back from a 2 loss and just she'll beat somebody. And I'm just like, that's got to be hard. So yeah, that's all respect, man.
Yeah, but it's way harder when you you know what I mean, because this is already a very underpaid sport, So when you're an amateur, and you're putting your health on the line, and you're over here like you got your family telling you to get a real job, and you got no one really believing in you, and you're losing, and you're still having to push forward. It takes a lot of mental fortitude to really.
I was gonna say that's probably the time you question whether it's worth it or not. That's probably the hardest point to push through there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, man, good thing I stuck with it, right?
Absolutely.
So,
I think I saw online that are you training out of Stanford MMA, or do you there? Yeah. Are you there? Is that where you do all your training, or just your camps?
Well, I'm actually one of the few people at Stanford MMA that's actually from South Florida. I'm a Broward boy, born and raised. You know what I mean? I'm from Sunrise. I started actually training at American Top Team Sunrise, which is actually my home. Stanford's my home gym, but like my head coach Roger Crawl is the owner of ATT Sunrise, rebranding now to Wolfpack MMA. He's been my striking coach, my head coach pretty much since day one. I used to train American Top Team Coconut Creek. I didn't really like the energy there or the vibe, so I kind of wanted who my head coach was, but I didn't really want to train there. So I was watching Anatomy of a Fighter one day. I think I already had like maybe one pro fight at this point or 2. And I was watching the way these guys train, the energy of the room, the way coach had speaking, Greg Jones. I thought the practice looked intense. It looked fun. It looked awesome. It looked pretty right up my alley. The energy in the room looked like it fit me great. So I told my coach, I told Roger, I'm like, hey, like coach, like I'm not really feeling ACT. I know that's kind of where you need me to train because you have a franchise school, but I want to keep you as my coach. But I really don't want to train there anymore, So he ended up making a couple calls to Henry because Roger's pretty cool with pretty much anyone in the business. And he welcomed me in. I went in there to spar, and the rest is history. And I've been there pretty much ever since. Back to Hard Knocks 365. And once we got the Sanford Health sponsorship, now we have a beautiful new facility up in Deerfield, But it's been a process. But I've been there for a while.
How much have those gyms helped you grow as a fighter? Because I know those gyms are filled with not only pro fighters, but I mean Sanford. has champions and shit too. So
yeah, well, absolutely, man. The quality of the bodies in the room is amazing. You know, I do a lot of my technical work, like my striking technique work with Roger has been my coach since day one, kind of giving me the foundation. But Greg Jones has been pretty much the backbone of my wrestling, man. Like, you know, the practices in there are always a grind. You got tough bodies in there that are all like-minded, you know. I don't think anyone in there is there to just be okay fighters. Everyone in there wants to be the best in the world. Everyone there is in a high-level organization. You got guys fighting in the UFC, Bellator, PFL, 1FC. We got guys fighting in big-time regional promotions such as LFA, you know, guys like me. I did the lightweight title. CFFC, my boy Eric Alaquin just won the CFFC welterweight title. Another guy Tuco, our guy Tuco won the Fury FC light heavyweight title. So within the span of 3 weeks, we brought home 3 belts. You know, so
that's huge.
It's a group, man. But you know, with the energy in there, no one's trying to hurt each other. It's very respectful. It's a very family vibe. So I mean, it makes you better, man. But another thing that makes you better is when you enjoy going to practice every day and what you're doing and you love going to work, you know, and that's something about Stanford MMA that stands out more than anywhere else I've ever been. You know, I'm from South Florida. I've been at the MMA hotspots all over, and I feel like there ain't no place like Stanford MMA.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I mean, I just the level of professionals that train there is. I mean, it's almost like they expect you to show up and they expect you to be professional. Just like you said, you'll have 3 belts in a matter of a short period of time. That's impressive. That's really impressive. So I know you were telling me you almost got to fight for Dana White's Contender Series, right?
Yeah.
Is that an option that might come back, or?
Well, I was actually slated to fight for them week 9. I forgot what season it was. It was 2 years, about a year and a half ago, before I tore my ACL. I got COVID out there 2 days before the weigh-in, and I ended up getting sent home. It was a pretty heartbreaking experience. Then after that, they were trying to get me another fight. Had a hard time finding an opponent. Then we finally got a good opponent. Nick Novelli, who's a very highly ranked pro. I believe he had like a 10-11-3 record, good fighter. I was slated to fight for the Titan lightweight belt back last February, and then I tore my ACL 2 weeks before the fight. So that's a catastrophic knee injury, put me on the shelf for about 9 months before I was even cleared to fully train. And then I was about 12 months post-op, I was scheduled to fight for the belt against another guy. I forgot how the hell to say his name, some dude from Kyrgyzstan. And then that fight fell through because the event got pushed back 2 weeks. And within that 2 weeks that it got pushed back, I got staph. So I got a staph infection. Then after antibiotics, then we ended up pushing the fight back to April 10th. And I finally was able to get in there, man, and claim my belt. But that was almost 2 years no fighting. And I was finally able to get in there. I think I put on a performance where you saw I was well-rounded. You saw I could grapple. You saw I could strike. You saw I could overcome adversity. I got cardio. I can fight in hostile environments, man. I know the UFC is looking at that fight, and it's a big one. And I'm waiting for a short notice call or hopefully get in the Contender Series again. From what I hear, the first Contender show is in July. So I'm ready for whatever, man. I'm eating good this week, having a few drinks, doing a little partying. But once Monday hits, we right back to work and get ready for that call.
Hell yeah! And what was during that 2 years off? I mean, what was the hardest challenge? I know that you had that whole time you have the next fight to look forward to get to that point. But during that 2 years, what was the biggest challenge for you?
Well, you got to understand in this sport of fighting, man, like it's not about the layoff, man. When you're out of the game too long, this is still the entertainment industry. You lose relevancy, you know.
Exactly.
I'm on a 3-fight win streak. That doesn't matter. The longer you go without fighting, the more people forget you. So
Exactly.
one of the hardest things to deal with really wasn't even just the fact that I was losing my relevancy. It was more of the fact that which affects my career. I don't really give a shit if people know me. It's just I want to progress. You know, I want to make money in the sport.
Exactly.
I want to life. You know.
But it's the type of sport that with the attention comes the money too.
Exactly.
Very unforgiving. Very unforgiving.
I really love doing this, and my whole life revolves around this. You know, I've sacrificed a lot. Anyone can go get a job, anyone can go work, get a career, do it. But I don't want to be older, you know what I mean, looking back at myself like, damn, what if I could have been this, you know?
Right.
So I go from doing something every single day, from being a coach and doing private training with people to showing up for practices, to the way I'm eating. Like everything I'm doing, every purpose I have and what I do during the day is revolved around this fight life, man. And you go from doing it every day, all day, to having absolutely zero.
Right.
It's hard, man. You know, it's hard. I felt like I was breaking down. I was extremely depressed. I lost relationships. I had a lot of people that I thought were my friends that really weren't. You know what I mean? The group of people that I thought were on my side went from being a good, like, 30, 40 people I thought were cool with me to being a very slim handful. You know what I mean? Not many people checking on me while I was hurt. Not many people checking on me after my surgery. Not people didn't care about my recovery. No one cared about my career. No one cares about any of that, man.
Yeah.
So you gotta really learn who your circle is and like really keep them close to you, keep them tight. And you gotta persevere, man. And I feel like that was a hard part, harsh reality is to understand that I'm in this for myself and that, you know, I gotta have my own back, you know?
And then was it just that realization that helped you get through it, or like, was it enough to just know that you'd be able to fight again? That was enough to keep you pushing?
Well, it was good, but I mean, what helped me get through it, to be honest, was being able to coach. I was coaching a lot of fighters, a lot of amateurs, a lot of pros. I traveled to Dominican Republic to corner my boy Delano Taylor, who's now fighting in PFL. He fought the Titan FC title back in Dominican Republic before when I was hurt on another show they did over there, and I got to corner him. I went to New York to corner my friend Miranda Barber, who fought pro boxing over there. I went to LA to go corner her over there to fight another pro boxing fight. I was cornering amateur fights and pro fights all over South Florida. I went to the IKF in Orlando for some of my amateur kickboxers. Like, I was staying in the game. I was staying involved. I was trying to be around the sport and make myself useful and not only grow just as a coach, but as a fighter myself, because it gave me a chance to slow everything down.
Absolutely.
And really appreciate what I was doing, you know?
Yeah. And they always say that if you can learn to teach something, it helps you learn it yourself so much more. Because if you can learn to break something down, then you can't break something down if you don't have the knowledge yourself. So
absolutely. I had to figure it out, you know?
Well, that's awesome.
So who, you know, like, as your career's kind of like started going and as like, as you grow up, like, who's your favorite professional fighter? Like, who's your favorite, like, who got you into it, you know? Or do you have like top three?
The number one guy who got me into fighting was Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz has been my inspiration from the get-go, watching a guy who's come from nothing, a guy who had a troubled childhood, you know what I mean? Didn't grow up under the best circumstances. A lot of people telling him he couldn't be anything. A lot of people telling him he wouldn't amount to it. And just kind of like getting through and making a lot of money, becoming prosperous, doing things by just being himself. You know, even though he can be outlandish and misunderstood, he was always being himself and always thrived by being himself, you know.
Absolutely.
And inspired me, you know. I mean, I remember in high school, I was sitting after school. My buddy had just done a couple of jiu-jitsu classes at Wagner Rochas and Plantation. And he was just a white belt, you know, hyped up on UFC or whatever like that, right? We were sitting in my house smoking weed and we're just watching fights and watching highlights. He showed me Anthony Pettis fights. He showed me John Jones fights. But who really stood out to me, like I said, was Nick Diaz, this fucking outlandish character, just not giving a fuck, flicking people off, talking shit. You know what I mean?
Talking flat.
Like, it just inspired me. Like, I would watch him and I'm like, you know what, man, I could do that shit. I was 17 years old, man. I could do that shit. And I started this, man. It turned into from 2 days a week to 3 days a week to 4 days a week to 5 days a week to just becoming my whole life, man. And the rest.
And now, were you straight into MMA, or did you start with a background in striking or wrestling or something?
Well, believe it or not, I actually started with jiu-jitsu, but I had the best coach, not Roger, but before that, one of Roger's students was my first coach for like a year. He didn't really teach me any skills, but kind of just taught me how to be tough and work hard. His name was Scotty McAdam. He actually holds a knockout win over Chris Algieri. I don't know if you guys know who Chris Algieri is. Yeah, in the World Combat League, which was Chuck Norris's kickboxing league. And taught me how to shoot a takedown. I was shooting like takedowns horribly. Like, I didn't really know what I was doing, you know? Right. So I had really bad bursitis in like both my knees, but like I just wanted to keep training. So I would keep training grappling. And my knees got so bad and so swollen that I couldn't even put them on the mat. So, so I went to where like, I'm like, whatever, I'm just going to kickbox. So I would just kickbox for like a year straight. There went a whole year where I just started kickboxing and I couldn't really do that. And then I started taking anti-inflammatory shots and eventually it went away. But I was just straight boxing, and I feel like that's why my striking got so far ahead of my grappling, you know?
Totally.
What kind of matchup do you like for yourself? And what kind of matchup are you just like when you see a guy? Obviously, I think you're well rounded. Like, is there a kind of matchup that you're just like, it's gonna be a grind? That's just like I just know.
What do you mean? In what sense?
Is there a kind of matchup that you know will be a tougher fight for you?
Like a style of fighting?
Like a style of fighting. Yeah.
I like all matchups. Man, all matchups are good. All matchups are tough. Especially at the level I'm fighting at, all fights are tough. Yeah. Me personally, the toughest matchups are these wrestlers, man. Them wrestlers are nasty. But you know, I train a lot of grappling, I train a lot of wrestling, and I'm always in condition for fights like that. Maybe one of those Dagestanis or something or whatever. But I don't like the mystique of any of these styles. You know what I mean? I got in this fight everybody. I got in this sport to be the best. I fear nobody. You know what I mean? Things happen. I respect the fight game. Someone's gonna win. Someone's gonna lose.
And that's what MMA should be about. That's why it's mixed martial arts.
Yeah, I could fight anybody, man. I mean, I like all matchups. You know, I think some fights are tougher than others. Some fights take more conditioning than others. Some take more footwork. Some take more of something. I mean, I feel like the hardest ones would be those grinding wrestling matches. But either way, I'm ready for them regardless.
It seems like it's a different kind of cardio, man. I mean, I think you're right about those Dagestanis, though. I think that they've kind of shown that, man, like you have to have a solid foundation of groundwork, you know, to be. It seems like every champion's got. That may not have been their first form of fighting, but they've evolved so they can defend takedowns at the least.
Well, you have to because it's mixed martial arts.
Right.
You're not gonna be a world champion in mixed martial arts if you don't have that. Otherwise, you'd be a kickboxer or just a grappler or something like that. You need that all around.
You can't do MMA unless you're at least okay at everything. You know what I mean? I feel like strikers with no grappling, in my opinion, are the easiest guys to beat up. That's how I lost my amateur fights. I was a striker with no grappling. Yeah. And I would go fights, I get laid on, I get taken down, and that's how it went. Now I have grappling, now I have cage work, now I have jiu-jitsu. So now it's like I can open up the best aspects of my game without fear because I'm not worried about getting taken down. So, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely it changes the way people fight. Did you watch Curtis Blades and Dawkins when they fought a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
Chris Dawkins like completely changed his stance. It looked like he was standing in a wider stance. And Curtis Blades showed up and he didn't even go shoot for a takedown. He just knocked him out. I was like, man, that's MMA. That's what it is. You have to. What'd you think of Hamzat? What'd you think of his big fight with Gilbert Burns?
Oh, well, I trained with Gilbert, so I was definitely going for Gilbert.
Yeah,
being biased though, because Hamzat's a fucking beast. I think my prediction was the fact that like I think the skill set was 50-50. I feel like Hamzat has superior wrestling to Gilbert. Gilbert also good wrestling. Great, one of the best jiu-jitsu. So that would make Hamzat not want to take it down. As you can see, like the jiu-jitsu did play a factor. Hamzat really didn't score that much takedowns, or like if he did anything with it, he scored them, but he didn't really do anything with them. You know, so
I saw that when
Gilbert. What's up?
I saw that, man. Like I respect shit out of Gilbert Burns' ground game, man. Like when Hamzat, he knocked him down once or twice. I mean, he didn't want no part of it. He didn't want any part of it.
I expected Gilbert to have the experience edge, and that's why I felt he pulled it out. Because people are talking like Hamzat was going to run through him, but you're talking about the number two in the world, who's got heavy hands, got good kickboxing, who's got some of the best jiu-jitsu in the division, who's got good solid wrestling, very well-rounded, and has fought some of the best guys in the world, man. Like Hamzat ain't fought nobody yet. So the fact that they were putting Hamzat to walk through him like that was a complete insult.
From the amount of people that I've talked to, I mean, I think Gilbert might have won that fight. It's not on the judges' scorecard.
It's fair. I think it was a close fifth round, and the fifth round is where it came down to. I feel like Hamzat won the first half of the fifth round. I feel like Gilbert won the second half of the fifth round. I feel in the fifth round, what happened was, though, in the half that Hamzat won, he might have landed a little bit more volume. But as far as like the pace of the fight and the way things were going, it was very, very even.
Right.
I give it to Gilbert because I feel like he was able to push and finish stronger. Yep. I felt like he landed the harder shots. But the Hamzat real thing, man, and they wanted him to win. So you gotta go in there and you gotta beat Hamzat, and it was a tough fight.
On the stats,
each other.
Yeah, go ahead. On the stats, I don't even think they gave Gilbert that knockdown where he cracked Hamzat, and it was a fucking big right hand.
Yeah, he face there.
Yeah, he face planted him.
Going into that, I mean, what do you what's your take on all the judges in MMA right now? Then I feel like, especially the last few years, that's been a constant problem and criticism of the judges and who they should really be picking as the judges or what. Do you have a say in that? Do you have an opinion?
They're always fucking up, man. I feel like they need to put former fighters in there, people that are more well trained and like understanding of the sport, man. They got a lot of old school boxing guys and a lot of guys that have never competed or fought before. I feel like we're at a point in time where like the sport's grown so much and evolved so much, you need better judging, man. The some of these fights are so close and there's so much money on the line. You can't be messing with people's careers like that, you know?
Well, and I remember it was in some interview last year. I think they were talking to Joe Anik or something, and they're saying that the judges still use like boxing points for all striking points. I'm like, how can you do that when it's a mixed martial arts fight, when there's so much more than just hands being thrown? Like,
yeah, man.
It's crazy, man, because like as much as I love the sport, as much as he loves the sport, he knows more about it than me. And like we watched the early prelims, we watched the prelims, and like the level of knowledge like between somebody like me and somebody like you is crazy. I mean, you are actually a professional fighter, and then I'm sure, I mean, obviously, like I'm pretty sure between you and Gilbert, I'm sure you know a difference. But like, man, it's crazy. Like I would never consider myself like I would not want to. I don't know how they judge that shit, and I mean, it's crazy the level of knowledge between, and you got these guys in there that they don't know what they're doing.
They're very untrained, very inexperienced, and it needs a change for sure.
Yeah. The more that I talk to, people like you, man, I realize that like the level of knowledge is it's crazy. It's what you know is, I mean, you do it every day. You live, eat, and breathe it. It's your job. So
yeah, but you gotta, these judges aren't very analytical. Like, I mean, like I do the sport, I'm pretty obsessed. I'm pretty analytical with the way I break things down. Exactly. These guys are looking at judges like a guy in the backyard to be looking at a street fight. Who you think won?
Yeah, like if the guy is bleeding from his face, they're gonna give the other guy points just because this dude's got a little more blood on his face.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, you gonna watch the AJ McKee and Pitbull 2 fight?
When is that? That's tomorrow?
Yeah. I think so. So.
I like McKee. I think he's a really good fighter. I think he's one of the best kept secrets in that division, man. He is really good.
The dude's a dog, especially on the ground. He's a dog.
Been built up perfectly, like career-wise. Like he's been built in Bellator since day one. They've given him matchups to build his confidence from like they dropped the skill level up until he just won the title, man. And like he looks like a world beater right now, man. If he can be this second fight, I don't think anyone's gonna take that belt away from him for a long time.
I agree.
I mean, Pitbull's been, man, he's been dominant for so long, It's just
never count him out because he's fucking Pitbull.
I mean, I guess you get an octagon or a ring with anybody. You really can't count anybody out, I guess.
They got that Nemkov Corey Anderson fight for the co-main too.
You think there's a chance?
Oh, dude. I mean, then again, he surprised us last fight.
Yeah, but he's fighting Vitaly Nemkov, man. Vitaly Nemkov is a bad dude, bro.
Yeah, that's not going the rounds for sure.
Man, that last fight, dude, I'm having a brain fart right now. What's his name? The guy that knocked out Austin Vanderford. Masasi. Yes, I was having a brain fart. That dude is so. That shows the level of difference between him and like maybe the rest of that division. He is.
Masasi is one of the best middleweights ever of all time. He's
not even middleweight. He's one of the greatest fighters.
I'm gonna go down the same route. See if I find.
Oh. Yeah, Masasi's good, man. He is like you say, he's one of the best middleweights of all time. It's kind of a shame we can't see like him and Izzy, because that would be.
Oh, I think Izzy will beat him though. The striking is too slick. The distance management is too good. But if down, he might, But I just don't know if he would. Masasi's striking style. He's got a kickboxing style. He likes to wait a lot. He doesn't really throw a lot of volume.
You think Alex Pereira is gonna? You think he's going to sneak up in there and get a fight with Izzy? He's fighting Strickland, so.
Well, they're looking for it, as you can see. If he beats Strickland, they might. To be honest, like you see Pereira moving up to fight a guy like Strickland, like that's a good style matchup for him to win.
Yeah, I think Pereira has Strickland, maybe one more fight after, and I think they're ready to push him to the money. Izzy already.
That's a money fight.
I don't see Strickland beating Pereira, to be honest, because see him trying to take him down like he should. I think on the feet, he's too big of an ego and he's too crazy. He's going to try and strike with him. Pereira hits, and he has really good timing. He's
got to box his hands. He's patient.
That dude hurt you. That is that's a very high level kickboxer.
That left hook is powerful from that man.
Yeah.
If Strickland, I don't give a damn how good a striker you think you are, bro. I will take that dude down,
Yeah.
Well, even Strickland said, he was like, I do the man dance. I don't do any of that pussy shit. He was like, but that being said, if Pereira hits me in the mouth, I'm going to take him down and bend him over for 3 rounds. I was like, all right, we'll see.
and everyone's bleeds. You talk about not doing that pussy shit, but like, hey man, you better do whatever you need to do to keep it conscious.
Exactly. It's different when you get in the ring too. It's different.
What is your opinion on Sean O'Malley? I mean, I'm a big fan of him. He's a big fan of him. Like,
he's a great fighter. I think he's really good. I just think that they're trying to build him. They're trying to keep him winning, because the more he wins, the more money they make. Man, he brings a lot of eyes to the sport. I think he's very skilled. I definitely think he's top 15 for sure.
Yeah.
Like, is he top 15 right now?
Yeah, I think he's like 13 or 12. Somewhere.
Maybe in the top 10, like at the high 10s, but like I don't think he's definitely championship material yet. I bet you
definitely not yet.
I bet you my boy Ronnie Lawrence finish him.
Yeah.
See, I also respect from O'Malley that he understands that, though. He's openly said that he's not ready to be a champion yet, that he wants more fights on his experience.
Yeah, he said
so we'll see what happens.
He calling out guys like Aldo and shit to try and boost his clout.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Aldo actually looks fucking good right now. He almost looks better in some ways than he did in the past.
I would love to see him be the champ. I would love to see him fight Sterling and win out.
Yeah, he called him out.
I mean, Sterling said he'd give him a shot, but that doesn't mean he will.
I mean, who else is in line? Aldo's won like 3 in a row. I mean,
exactly. I'd rather see him than get TJ the shot already.
Fuck TJ. Peter.
Yeah, you can't give TJ the shot already.
No, TJ got to win another fight.
Should get the shot. He should get the shot because he never lost his belt, and he won against Sandhagen, which is a huge win. That's the toughest guy in the division next to Jan, you know. So I definitely a good one, but I think Aldo deserves that shot to be the champ just because of his seniority, and he's been active. You know, I know he fought for the belt with Jan, but Jan lost, and Sterling's the champ. I think he should get a shot.
I totally agree.
That was another one that people are saying the judges had slipped, man. Like Aljamain and Jan, and I'm just like, dude, I think the first round was Sterling. I think the last 2 were dominant by Jan, but I didn't see a first round where Piotr won that. I'm just like, that's my opinion though. Do what?
On which fight?
Sterling and Jan.
Just this last weekend.
Tends to give away the first round. I think Sterling won the fight. Yeah. But I thought Jan won 4 and 5 and then gave away the first, like a very slim margin, and then lost 2 and 3 clearly.
I agree. Jan just didn't throw enough to win round 1.
He lost the first round, I think 17-13 in the strikes.
Yep.
Or something like that. It was like really close. And like he was, and you know, he wasn't really doing anything, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
That's just how it is. I think if they fought five times, I think Jan would have been 4 out of 5. But in this case, he didn't. You know, he didn't put the gas on like he needed to, and
he might be one of the most well-rounded in ever.
Titan FC are the championship fights 5 rounds too?
Yeah.
Okay. So was this your first 5-round fight this last weekend?
Yeah, but we didn't go 5.
But training for those 5-round fights, did you change anything, or have you always been trying to train for that championship round?
Honestly, like with the way I train, I probably could do 5 rounds anytime I peak for a fight. Yeah. But with the way I trained for this fight, I definitely did a lot more 5-round stuff, keep my body clock ready for 5. The 5-round fight is a little bit different, you know. I'm not saying I don't push the pace because my whole style is a cardio-based style. I think I get better the deeper rounds go, and you know, that's just how I fight. But in all reality, like you got to change up the way you're fighting. You can't fight at a full sprint for 5 rounds. It just doesn't work like that. I don't care how well conditioned you are. I don't care how much experience you have. There's no fighter, even in the UFC. Name one UFC fighter that's ever fought a full sprint for 5 rounds. Give it to me. He weighs like nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. You're absolutely right. You think Conor comes back this year?
I don't give a fuck if Conor comes back this year. I think Conor, he was good for the sport. I think he left. I think he needs to hang it up. He's rich. He don't need to fight no more. He grew the sport the way he needed to. He served his purpose. He's not on the GOAT list. He's not. You know what I mean? He never defended the belt. He made a lot of money and was a great personality for the sport. But now money's changed him. He hits old guys. He fucking has rape cases. He causes issues at events. You know, he walks around. He owns the shit. I think he needs to hang it up. I think they need to be done with it.
You're not wrong.
Nothing he said is wrong, man. I think that I respect the fuck out of that opinion, honestly, because they're all facts. They're all facts. So.
And listen, I think Conor's a skilled fighter. I think he's good as fuck. I learned shit from him. And I'm a southpaw. I like a lot of shit he does. I think he's got good reflexes. He's got a fucking rocket launcher for a left hand. You know, he's slick with it. got good stand, but like, dude, he's just too much.
Make him a goat.
He's not the everyone wants to see. The Conor, like, I understand, like, everyone wants to see Conor fight, but why would you want to see Conor fight? The Conor you see
he's
now,
not the best fighter.
it's not the Conor you want to see. You're gonna see a Conor. So why would you want to see him fight anymore?
He almost doesn't even look like a shell of himself. It's so different.
You make a good point though, because the last 3 fights he's had, everyone gets super hyped up, and then everyone can't stop talking about how disappointed they were after the fight. So,
I'm not a Conor hater. I know I might sound like a Conor hater with the way I'm talking, but I'm not.
No, it's just realistic. Like we said, everything you said is a fact. It's not even necessarily opinion based.
He came out in that second fight against Dustin. He came out and he looked stiff. His boxing, apparently, he was training for that boxing match against Manny Pacquiao. He looked real stiff. And then in the third fight, I do think he did look a lot better. However, he broke his leg, man. I mean, it was a pretty even fight statistically.
He was losing. He was getting his ass whooped. He got taken down and controlled. He was getting pieced up on the feet. He got hurt on the feet, and then his back was to the fence when he fucking broke his leg. He was on his back foot, getting fucked up. I don't think I don't think his leg break means shit. I think he was getting fucked up, and I think he's lucky his leg broke, because if his leg didn't break, he would have been concussed.
Yeah, probably so. I mean, I think you're right. I mean, unless if that second round, the only way I would have seen him winning is a 1-punch knockout. You know what I mean? And you're right. He was getting pieced the fuck up.
Yeah, but you get a guy like Conor who's a fast twitch guy. You grapple him a little bit. You put some pressure on him. That power doesn't exist going into round 2, round 3, round 4.
Yeah. And that's something Conor's never carried into the late rounds.
Right.
Huh?
That's something Conor's never been able to carry into the late rounds.
Nope. I'll definitely sound like Conor fans though, just hearing you talk.
Honestly, yeah,
it's what got him into it.
He got me into the sport, and I love the personality, like kind of like you said. I think that I would love to see him come back and actually beat, but I think realistically, I know because he's not the same karate stance Conor that's bouncing around. It's not.
Because I love that Conor. That was the best Conor. That was like the guy you wanted to watch. That was the guy who changed the sport forever. You know what I mean? Guy who kind of like set the blueprint for the way a lot of these guys are trying to carry their careers. you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I think as like being realistic, if there's a guy that like is on the top of my list now is like fan wise, man, I love Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler's he's fucking awesome. I
with Chandler sometimes. Yeah, he's in the gym. He's a good fighter, man. He's a good dude.
Good dude. That's what I think is.
He's grouchy as shit, but whatever. He's sometimes he's cool, sometimes he's a dick.
What do you spar with Gilbert too?
I haven't sparred with Gilbert. I train with him sometimes. I haven't sparred with them in a while.
Yeah.
I'm a weight classes, or not Mike. Mike chooses who he trains with. Like I just boxed with Mike. I moved around Mike, but he won't really want to train with me. I don't know why, but he likes to pick and choose his partners. He's at that level in that point in his career. He can be a diva. You know what I mean? So let him do it.
Right. Yeah.
And even though he's gotten a couple losses, he's just been phenomenal. And damn near every fight,
he's lost all his fights in the UFC right now. He need to make a change, but we got a good matchup right now. He's fighting Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson's a tough motherfucker. He can break you down with his cardio and his durability. But you get Michael Chandler, and Michael Chandler hits like a motherfucking truck, and you can never count him out against anyone. He always. And the one thing about Mike is like he always shows up to fight. You know what I mean? There's not a single fight you'll see him in where he ever underperforms. If you beat him, you get
that Gagey fight for sure proved that.
Yeah. I mean, he's been I don't remember who said it, but somebody was like, yeah, I mean, he's got a couple losses, but man, he's been within inches every fucking time, damn near. I mean, he was beating the shit out of Oliveira, and then he just got caught. I mean, it happens.
Have there been guys that you've tried to, not base your style off of, because you want to have your own style, you want to be unique, but have there been guys that you've kind of looked to pick things up from? Nick
Diaz, Max Holloway. I like volume. Max Holloway is one of my favorite fighters ever. I think Max is my favorite fighter ever right now. So just breaks dudes down and controls the pace of a fight, and is able to keep dudes at his pace and his range at all times, and being able to mix up the body to the legs to the head with both the hands and the legs, and be able to make a fight adjustments, the durability, the ability to stay on his game plan and stay on his shit at all times, regardless of how the fight's going. Like you watch Jair Rodriguez, he was getting fucked up in the first round.
Yeah.
Fucked up and second round, but stayed disciplined, stayed on his shit, and was able to pull away and keep the fight at his pace and end up taking over the rounds, you know?
Absolutely.
I fucking love Max.
You know what I mean? Like that's a great example of what I mean by discipline. You know, he stays on his shit. If things aren't going always his way, he stays on his shit, and that's
I think
like
that fight with because I really fuck with Calvin Kattar too, and I think that fight between them is going to outline how Kattar grows as a fighter now.
I called that fight though as soon as that fight was booked. I like the fight. Kattar's a beast, but like, bro, like you gotta understand, like he's one of those guys. He's a 1-2 punch at a time guy, and he's a puncher. And he just doesn't throw enough, man. I feel like the thing about Max Holloway is his output and his activity. And the thing is, got a guy with that kind of output and activity, it's hard to get anything going on him, you know, because he's the one who's getting going on you. And I feel get going on him and just pull away.
Yeah, and like you said, he's so good at staying disciplined, sticking to that game plan that you'll see a lot of guys who might do that for the first 2-3 rounds, but then they lose their game plan when they get in a little trouble or when they get a little tired. Like you said, he's having that discipline that he's able to do that for 5 rounds. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's insane.
I don't want to see Dan Hooker lose again either, man. Because personality-wise, I fucking love Dan Hooker, man. Like the shit.
I talk about him now like he sucks, bro. But like, look at who that motherfucker's fought.
He's a stud, bro.
He has one of the toughest resumes, for sure.
Yeah, he will fight anybody.
RDA has the hardest resumes in the sport.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he never says fucking no. He shows up. He fucking fights. And you know what, man? Like, he cuts some weight, and Arnold Allen is not. He's good. He's fucking the kid's good. And
yeah,
I got a lot of respect for all those city kickboxing guys.
I think he's one of the best guys at 45 too. I've been thinking that too. Like since before the Reebok deal, I thought he was amazing. But people don't know who Allen is. I don't know why. I guess he's been inactive or whatever. But I haven't watched the fight recently. But
like you said, that inactivity can hurt.
What is Bryce Mitchell?
Like attention wise.
What is Bryce Mitchell's weight class? 45 or 35? 45.
Hey guys, I gotta get my charger. I'm on 6%. Give me 1 second.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah.
This is the money they got from the delivery round. 3,103 buyers, 3,000. But Lewis changed prices on something, so that's the money the customer gets. So just deal with Lewis and charge them more today. That's what they from the control they said they didn't get. Oh yeah. Well, I guess maybe that's why he changed the price because he control the
There you go.
Yeah, we're probably almost done. I don't want to keep you all afternoon, man. But
it's all good. I'm chilling. I'm got nothing going on, man. On my belt. You know what I mean? I'm just chilling.
I love that, man. I love the mentality you got. I'm ready to see you grow, man. I'm super ready.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a good time, bro. I'm excited, man. I think I'm ready for that next level. 2 years ago when I was gonna fight before, I was not ready for that next level. But right now, I feel like I'm ready for that next level.
What do you think it was? Was it mentality? Was it your skill, or was it just all wasn't put together yet? Or
I think I just needed to grow as a person, man. I think it doesn't have to do with just skills. Or I think I've always had the skills. I think I've always been a dog. I think I've always had the discipline. I think it's just about mentality, understanding how to respect the fight game better, how to understand what I need to put into myself and how I need to keep who I need around me, and like just a lot of maturity things, things that you learn as a man, not having to just do with fighting. And I think like now that I've learned that and I've gotten to the position I'm at, that now I think I'm ready for that next level.
Absolutely. How old are you?
I'm 26.
Okay. All right. I'm 25. He's 26. Y'all are great.
Yeah, exactly.
Afraid of me.
Like when I hit 25, I feel like after I hit 25, a little bit after that, now I'm finally starting to like mature a little bit. I feel like I was a fucking retard until like recently.
I'm with you.
I literally had this conversation with somebody the other night, man. I was talking to them and they're like, yeah, I'm 22. And I was like, you're young. And he's like, I'm not that young. And I was like, I used to think the same thing. And I was like, trust me, those 3 or 4 years, they make a huge difference.
It's a whole nother phase of life, man. It's just a whole nother phase. I'm not saying that that's a bad phase. It's a good phase, but it's just different.
Your 20s are a big learning curve, and you take a bunch of big fat L's. That's what they're for.
I've taken so many goddamn L's. I'm fucking tired of taking L's.
And I just looking forward. You really never stop taking L's. You just learn how to cope with them. To be honest, it's gonna keep happening. It's gonna keep fucking happening.
Some wins to even it out, like that belt there.
Oh shit. What does that do for your confidence like that, man? Like getting the belt, especially after like the past 2 years, like I know that's got to feel fucking phenomenal.
To be honest, it really don't mean shit. You know what I mean? The Titan belt is cool and having an accolade is cool, but the belt doesn't represent like winning a fucking world title. It doesn't represent winning like, oh, I'm a winner. I did this in the sport. It represents perseverance and it represents all the bullshit I went through the last 2 years and being able to overcome it and do that. That's what it means to me. I don't really care about the belt or like the win or anything like that. It's the fact that after the layoff that I had, after all the financial struggle, all the fucking relationship struggle, all the fucking, just all the shit I went through, man. And to be able to come out of it and come out on top and like get my career back on track and get everything going back the way I need it to go is a huge step for me, man. And I just need to stay consistent, stay persistent, and just stay on, like I said, stay disciplined, stay on my shit, and fucking just keep climbing, man, and get to that point so I can change my life finally. And I think I'm at that point so I can finally change my life for the better. I think I deserve nice things, man. I deserve to have a nice car. I deserve to have a nice place to live. I deserve to wear nice clothes. I deserve these things. And I feel like I put in the work, I put in the sacrifice, and I've taken the L's to fucking get to this point, you know? So
absolutely. Absolutely.
That's every word you just said. I mean,
and it's good to hear that perspective too, because
man,
not everyone's got it, man. But
I think it's also like a realization that, you know, like like you said, it's just, it don't mean shit. I mean, like, if you don't continue to do those things that got you where you're at, I mean, the next fight, you got to continue. Like you said, there's no days off.
Can't get complacent.
You got to learn, man. Got to keep learning. Got to keep growing. Got to stay humble, man. No, these belts don't mean shit. The one thing I understand about the fight game is I could easily be the guy on the other side.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I've been the guy on the other side. I've been the guy that had everything on the line and losing, and like you're in the locker room and nobody's calling you, no one's talking to you, you're not relevant, no one gives a fuck. You know what I mean? Like you got to respect the game and understand that it has the highest highs and the lowest lows. And right now I'm at a high, but I respect this high enough to where I'm not gonna let it be such a big high. I'm gonna keep it in the middle. We're gonna stay humble. We're gonna stay ready, and we're gonna make shit happen.
Fuck yeah, like you said, that's mature beyond years too. So I love to hear that, man. I'm excited to see your future for sure, and I hope you do get that Contender Series chance, because that was definitely unfortunate.
Yes, sir. You're gonna be definitely entertained, man. Just stay tuned and keep watching and keep tuning in. We're gonna make a lesson, man.
Oh yeah. I think the last question I got, man, is like, so, you know, when you're in a fight, you know, and you get hurt, you know, what goes through your mind, you know, either whether you're getting close to getting, you know, in a choke, or you're getting close to where you get hit and you're stumbling, like what pushes you through that?
I don't know. It's an experience thing. I just tell myself to stay relaxed and just pay attention. You know what I mean? A lot of times you get hit and things happen. You're blocking shots after. It's just a matter of like how you react. You know, you can't freak out. If you freak out and panic, that's when bad things happen. You know, you get hit shots you don't see. You got to pay attention to what's going on and try to lock back in and redirect your focus. I feel like when you're in the chaos of a fight, things can get hectic. Things can get like pretty crazy all over the place. You got to learn to stay focused and locked in. And I feel like that's an important part of how to deal with it. I got hit this last fight. I don't know if you watched the fight. Did you watch the last fight?
I did not see it.
I actually got hit with a looping hook behind the ear after throwing a shitty ass kick I shouldn't have thrown. So I've been through that twice. My last fight too, I got hit with an overhand right. I got dropped there too. So if you want to go back and look at those fights, it's definitely happened to me before. So, you know, it's just about being locked in, being relaxed, understanding where you're at, shaking it off and forgetting about it as soon as it happens. Because if you're over here thinking you got rocked and all that shit, you're gonna feel the effects worse than what they are, you know? So
oh yeah, you gotta stay composed. You know, that's what all these greats, man. Like that's like when Burns fought Usman. Burns probably cracked him harder than almost anybody ever has, and Burns he stayed composed. Not Burns. Usman stayed. Yeah, he stayed composed.
But there's also I've been flash knocked down, I've been dropped, but there's plenty of times where dudes get hit and they're just not there. You know what I mean? Like you get hit,
right?
Not your choice. You know what I mean? You just got to work on autopilot. Like my boy Ronnie Lawrence in his last fight against Manny Martinez got hit with a crazy spinning back fist.
I remember that shit.
He almost gave me a fucking heart attack. But he told me he's like, even in the back, like he was out of it. Like he's just autopilot, shot ahead inside single, finished top and won the rest of the round. But like,
I remember that fight.
Yeah, but it's one of those things, just autopilot. You know what I mean? You just got to go. So
no, the human brain's weird, man. Like it takes probably a centimeter of a difference on where you're getting hit to where if you're going to be on autopilot or not, or if you're just going to be completely out.
Yeah, thank God we train so much, because if we didn't train so much, we would not survive these moments.
Yeah, wrong about that.
Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up on our end, man. If you got anything you want to talk about, then we could do it. But shit, it was great talking to you.
Yeah, you got anything in the future coming up for you?
I'm waiting for the call, man. You know what I mean? I believe we're gonna get the call up. I believe we're gonna get either a contender series slot or the call to the UFC. If not, I'm gonna go and defend this belt. I just can't wait to get back in there. I want to give a shout out to my sponsors, Hemp EMU, Jesse Davidson Law, Horizon Energy. Thank you to my team, Sanford MMA, Coach G Jones, Henry Hoof, Coach Stroud, Kami Barzini, my head coach, Roger Crawl, my jiu-jitsu coach, Bobby Casale, my boy, Ronnie Lawrence. I've mentioned him already a couple times here. And aside from that, man, that's really it, man. I appreciate you guys.
No, we appreciate you, man.
Just message me. Like I said, we're finishing up a logo and we'll send you some shit. I mean, I've been saying that for like a month and a half now, but we're finally getting to where we need to be, and we got some shirts and shit. We'll send them out to you.
Get it, brother. I support you, man, for sure. Get going on.
Absolutely. All right, bro. We'll talk to you later.
For sure. Have a great night.
You too.